Welcome to Local Distortion. On this podcast, I'll be talking to the best up-and-coming independent artists and bands. I am your host, Daniel Kirk. My guests this week are Hollowstar. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Would you like to go around the room and introduce yourselves, please?
Yeah, I'm Joe, I'm on vocals and bass.
I'm Phil, on guitarist and vocals, or will I try?
I'm Tom on guitars.
And Jack on the drums.
So we have a full room.
We do.
Yeah.
It's going to get very sweaty.
You're not
indeed.
lying.
It's getting a bit warm already, isn't it?
Warm.
A little bit.
You guys are fresh off from headlining the alternative stage
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
stage
the
3.
Cambridge Rock Festival.
Yeah.
How did that go?
that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
really
good. Yeah. It was. It felt quite long being there since Thursday, but again,
Thursday?
I mean, we decided, well, me and Joe at least, sort of, wanted to check out the scenes and see what was going on, and then found ourselves setting up a tent and staying there every single day until we played.
Because you were playing,
Yeah.
did you have to pay to go that early?
No,
or?
that was the advantage of it. That's what
Wow,
sort of
that's
encouraged
cool.
us to say,
Yeah,
there's a free
why not?
festival ticket there as well, and we're playing at the end.
It was
Oh,
quite
that's
lucky.
awesome.
It fell on a weekend where the only thing we had booked in was that Sunday night gig.
Yeah,
Right.
And it's rare that we get a weekend like that. So it was just like, right, pack the bags, let's go.
Let's get there quickly before we book anything, and then done.
We went along Thursday night, we just thought, we'll just go see, we thought we'll go have a look at the band and have a beer, but we'll just sling the tent in case. And then came home on Monday.
So it worked out all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the listeners out there, can you tell us a little bit about Cambridge Rock Festival? Because it's kind of a new thing, isn't it?
This was the 11th year, I believe. But there are all sorts of bits and bobs.
Was there like cover bands there as well?
There was the odd
some,
cover
yeah.
band.
Because some of the names I was seeing on the lineup kind of were like, they're a Pink Floyd cover band.
Yeah.
Tribute.
Yeah,
there's
tribute
bands.
Tribute
And
bands.
you did have people that were covering other people's songs. I mean, I will say the people that were there covering other people's songs were good at covering other people's songs. So the quality of the musicians was there. I mean, but then you had everything from that down to young sort of 14, 15-year-old bands just starting out on the scene, all the way up to standing there and watching Carl Palmer at the end of Saturday night and things like that. So it's a big range of things.
So where was the festival roughly set up near Cambridge? Where was the location?
Barton, yeah. Just off the M11.
Yeah, first.
You
I think I saw them packing up.
Yeah.
Like there was a big couple of like,
That's it.
yeah,
Big white
just
tents.
just before you turn off, isn't it? To
Yeah,
Barton?
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's where it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was roughly about 100 quid.
£105 a ticket, I think. And then
And that was for the whole weekend,
that
wasn't
gets
it?
you the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
that's
it's,
Thursday to
Yeah.
technically
Yeah.
Monday,
I think it's
100 quid.
100 bands, so it's like £1 a band.
Yeah, and then it's just a bit extra
Yeah.
for camping, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's worth going along to.
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
I mean, I'd like to see next year. I want to see some of the Cambridge rock bands that obviously that are coming out of the scene, like Lonely the Brave, Mallory Knox.
Yeah,
They would be the first two Cambridge rock bands.
that's
on
that's
next
what I'm
year
still
for me.
waiting for. Like Strawberry Fair haven't capitalised on that, and there's a couple of other festivals knocking around. It's just like, where are all the Cambridge bands? Why are you getting bands in to play your festivals?
I think
Yeah.
the
When you got
closest one was over
shitloads of
Bedford.
bands just here.
I think Bedford did something Fort Fest, I think it was, and that was about the closest to home festival that anyone was bringing their bands to.
It's
And it just
strange.
just
It's,
seems odd.
it's really weird.
So hopefully Dave Roberts is listening. Bring
Yeah,
us Mallory Knox and Lonely the Brave.
Yeah.
and pretty much all the people that have featured on this podcast.
Yeah.
Get them all signed up.
Yeah. Why
And
not?
can we come along?
Just have a local distortion stage, and we'll
That's
just
it,
have
yeah.
all the acts.
Let's do this.
From the podcast.
Local Distortion Takeover 27.
Yeah. That'll be a sick gig.
That's it. That's the
Yeah,
one.
you got Seasons, Alone with Wolves,
There's two.
Standing Like Statues, Hollowstar headlining, obviously.
Well, that'd be nice.
You flatter us.
Just because you've headlined already,
Well,
you know you can handle the pressure.
That's
Or
it.
just because we're here.
Yeah, both maybe.
That's how Tom got the job
That-
with the guitar.
yeah.
Ah.
You're here, you
Just
get the
there.
job.
Yeah, you'll do. There's nobody else signing up straight away, biting your hand off for the position.
That was one of my questions actually. How did you get to headline that stage? What did you have to do to get that?
Tom's favourite. We'd been working for probably must be 6-8 months now with a local radio station in Cambridge 105, because they've got a thing called the New Music Generator,
Okay.
presented by Tim Willett. We ended up bumping into him at an Abstracts gig and talking to him about what he does, and we'd sort of gone along there because at the time we were quite new getting back into it. We've been in bands years and years ago, but we had about 5 years out of the scene completely, where we're getting on with normal, boring life for a little bit and seeing the world a little bit. But we sort of just found ourselves standing in a room next to him and finding out about this when we were trying to get a gig in the Portland.
Yeah.
And
it's not as easy as people think, is it?
No.
Not as easy as it should be.
When you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
But trying to find that first doorway, that's what I don't like. But my previous guest on the podcast, who was Josh, who works for CambridgeBands.com. Josh Spolstra.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
I think he puts on a lot of gigs at the Portland.
Yeah.
And obviously if you do it through CambridgeBands.com and you speak to them directly, they find bands for you to actually play.
Portland prefer working with promoters.
Yeah.
They don't like actually booking out to bands as such.
No, but Josh actually does promote.
Yeah.
Like, he does do promotions.
He gives that middleman side.
Yeah. He is basically a promoter sometimes. Like, he has done it. He said it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
But he can do it. But that's what Cambridge Bands aim to do on their website.
We worked with them years ago with the old band. We actually did.
Yeah, they've been going a long time. I found out.
Yeah.
Well, since late 90s, I think that website's
It's
been
good
going.
to see that starting to fire up again.
They're doing more Facebook stuff now.
I think it's because the Cambridge music scene is getting stronger.
Yeah.
If you look around now, though, when we stopped going before, I think there was a few bands. There was a band called Canebo who swapped to the Colour Movement, and a few bands. And I remember a band called Federal Black 40 or something from back then, who I remember stood out when we were younger and stuff like General Lee.
That was the band.
Was that a Takeshi's Castle reference? Or?
No.
It was just some giant guy with a goatee going mental on stage for 45 minutes.
It probably
crazy
was.
stuff.
Awesome,
but and then sort of everything sort of tailed off, and
it kind of went dead because there was no venues. Was there?
No.
Remember the old Barfly? Well, before it was even Barfly, it was just
Upstairs,
a Graduate. That was such an amazing venue.
And Cellar Bar 8. I love
Cellar Bar 8. I was always in there when I was younger.
That's the one they need to
What was
bring
the
back.
other one?
Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon.
And no, there's no one. Soul Tree, was it?
The Soul
So
Tree.
they put on a few gigs. Yeah, they did.
The thing is, though, it was.
Was there no bands or what? What happened?
You went through this sudden switch, and it was almost like everybody stopped wanting to listen to bands.
Because obviously there's that period where there is loads of people going to gigs because they're that age where that's all they want to do. But then people do grow up and they do like stay inside a bit more.
I suppose it happens as
not
well
go out as often.
with different generations, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas our parents would listen to the radio, I suppose we were more TV when we were kids.
Yeah.
And then I imagine our kids will be like sat there watching holograms, going, why are you going to watch it on the telly? So it's just, I guess it's one of them. But then everything goes in circles. If you notice now, if you listen to the radio and you've got bands like The Answer and stuff like that coming back, rock music never dies. It just sort of goes.
My gripe is with radio. It's like they're finally starting to realise, we need to actually promote some new bands because we can't keep playing the same Madonna song over and over again. People get bored.
Every time I get in a car with anybody who's into music, or if I go around anybody's house that's into music, they'll put a CD on. Or they'll go
because
their Spotify.
It comes down to this: people don't want to be told what to listen to.
No,
people want to make up their own minds and listen to their own music that they want to hear. And I think radio is a bit of a dead format now because it doesn't have that choice. It doesn't have that wide range of selection that like YouTube and Spotify have. Yeah, digital radio is better, but Spotify does. It gives you full control and it gives you suggestions. So you put on a song you like and it will say, maybe you'll like this song because it's kind of similar.
And you could loads of new music.
And you can just press that button and just leave it. And if you sign up to Spotify, I'm really plugging Spotify. I don't know why. Employ me, please. But if you just press a button, it does all the hard work for you. Just leave it on in your car, and it's all the bands you want.
That's the way I listen to music.
And YouTube as well. So this might be another dangerously off-topic question, which could spiral off. So
Tom's ready. He's ready to spiral off topic.
What bands inspire your sound?
Alter Bridge and Blackstone Cherry are our main two. With Slash is a big influence in the way Tom plays. And
the solos.
Phil's got solo. Phil used to listen to a lot of Satriani and bits and bobs like that. So that's sort of where theirs come from. And for us as well, I think it is bands that's got a bit of balls behind it. We like something that's that's got a bit of attitude.
Yeah, don't forget the drums.
Yeah.
Same grace.
Not very
The
often,
most
but yeah.
important instrument, some would say.
Well, it is quite important.
What is it you've been banging on about recently?
You're only as good as your drummer. Your band's only as good as your
Yeah.
drummer.
Well, I kind of like that.
This is Jack's
Yeah.
sentence of the month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's some good
I'll go
wise
by
words.
that, though. I'll go by that.
Yeah.
Because, I think one of the most important things about being a band is being tight.
Yeah.
Being tight and,
Yeah.
and being on tempo. And that is controlled by your drummer. You can twiddle all you want, but if it's out of time and out of tempo, it's going to sound awful.
It's gonna show up, definitely. I know you guys have been in the studio this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you were up to?
We can tell you bits. Can
we have an exclusive?
We're planning an album, basically.
Okay.
We're hoping by the end of the year. I'm hoping for an October release date. I think we're all hoping for an October release date, but it is a
Probably
case
gonna
of
be November.
when it's ready.
Yeah.
It's not something we're going to rush. We've got the debut single out, Feel the Burn.
Yeah.
That's the first track to be released off the album.
So that's definitely on the album.
That's definitely coming out on the album, so
that's
we
definitely
can.
on
That is, I think that's the first time we've ever said that as well. Actually.
Exclusive.
So that's an exclusive.
Yeah.
Feel the Burn will be on the album that's coming out later in the year.
Which you can already buy on iTunes.
You can buy Feel the Burn on iTunes, and Spotify and all other similar
Outlets.
platforms.
Yeah.
Amazon Music.
Amazon Music, I think, and Shazam works. I've asked live, haven't I? A few times, just somebody Shazam this while
Yeah,
we
I keep
play this and tell me if it works. Nobody tells me. I don't even know if they're bothered. Nobody cares. In fact, I did actually. I think it was the gig you came along to see us actually at Pim Jam Festival.
Oh, did you do it
And there
there?
was somebody at the crowd. No, somebody at the crowd. That was the most odd thing I've ever had shout. I just had from the back of the thing, just shut up and sing. I think that's the weirdest thing I've ever had something shout.
You were quite chatty, which
Oh,
kind of surprised me because usually lead singers are a bit like they just want to get on with it,
Oh no, the thing is,
and they're like really
Don't
reluctant
stop.
to chat.
Oh, yeah.
Like in between songs, definitely they're just they're
People
like
come-
really rushed and
people come for a show. If they wanted to sit and just listen to 14 songs back to back, you can put on a CD.
yeah.
It's we've
But-
always said it from the beginning.
but I
Put on
found-
a show and interact.
Yeah, I found with your set, because it was awesome, someone dragged me out the pub. They were like, come look at these guys. And I come out and I was like, wow. And after some of your songs, you kind of needed just that couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Just
Just
to get
to-
over what you
Just to be like, just to appreciate the solo and just everything. You just needed that.
But no, I think it went quite well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. I was obviously in the crowd for that gig, and everyone was talking about you guys.
It's always
Yeah.
good news.
Yeah,
it is.
definitely. So back to your album. How is it going to be different from your EP that you've released at the moment, Future City?
The EP was never supposed to be released. That's the main difference.
Is it even released anymore? Because I kind
No,
of struggled to find
We
it.
put it we put it out.
You hid it. haven't you?
We've hidden it. We have
Yeah.
Jack's gone and put his.
Why don't you like it?
Basically, what happened was in the early days we were going around looking for gigs,
Mhm.
and you go to a promoter and you say, "Oh, can we have a gig?" And they go, "Yeah, right, mate. Let's have a listen." And we had nothing to show them apart from a couple of videos on shaky phone videos and stuff that we had on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was a case of, right, we need something. So we had a word with the guy that we know that's owns his own studio. It's a place called Sham Studios up Somersham Way, which is a good little. It's where we practice actually. 'Cause it's a good space just to get away and focus on the music. And the guy's been working on music and doing courses on music and sort of upping his knowledge with what he knows. So it was sort of a mutually beneficial thing, really. Of okay, well, why don't you come test what you know with regards to recording, and we can get something that we can give to promoters.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So we sort of did that, and then once we got that out, we had people that were, because we were then finding the gigs, and it sort of came a bit quicker than we were ready for, with people saying, "Where can I get your music? Where can I get your music?" And wanting to keep the wave going and not lose the hype that we'd got, we had to put something out. So we used Future City and we gave that to Cambridge 105 and let them play that, entered it in a chart, which just went off the scale. And
'Cause it held the #1 spot on their chart, didn't it? Is it their chart? For multiple
11
weeks.
Yeah.
11 weeks out of
11?
20. Yeah.
Wow,
And then
that's
we
impressive.
made the Hall of Fame for doing the full 20 weeks as well. So it was sort of, but it did the job that we needed it to do.
Yeah.
But what we wanted to do, that, like I say, those were originally all part of the idea for. We decided in the beginning we don't want to be going out there and putting out EPs. We were looking at all the bands that we go and see, and you want an album, and as much as an EP does have its place and it does have its good thing, I want something that I could put on for an hour's drive and it lasts the hour's drive.
Definitely.
And so does everybody else. They don't want to be flicking through 5 different EPs to listen to your stuff. If it was me on a drive, I'll go for a 14-track one so I haven't got to piss around swapping the disc. So we wanted to just go straight off, right, everything we're going to do is going to be as a big band does it. And that was our ethos from start to finish. So, and it was right, we're going to go straight for the album. So the idea was as soon as we have something that's album ready, we'll pull the EP.
Yeah.
Because it's done its job, but now...
Yeah. See, I kind of really like that idea because not many bands would have the balls to do that, to pull it and take it away. But in a way, you've kind of made that EP kind of special in a way.
Yeah. The people who actually
even though
in the beginning...
Yeah, because even though you might not be too happy with it, you've kind of made it an exclusive thing that if people hold on to it, you know,
that's what we're hoping.
It might be kind of cool. But yeah, I really like that idea, and it's kind of an old school way of thinking because a lot of people used to release just downloadable singles. It was before SoundCloud and all that, so you had to make a website for that download. So you had to go to that specifically, download it, and that's it. Then you've got it. But then they would close the website in a couple of months, so it wasn't around forever. So yeah, I kind of like that idea.
That's the thing, though. The people will always make music through the love of it, but actually going out there and spending money and supporting music gives them the opportunity to actually put their time and their heart into it, rather than...
I think that drives people to gigs as well, because they haven't got your CD at home, and it's not on iTunes it's not all on iTunes, that type of thing. It's not all on YouTube for them to just stream, so they have to go back to listen to it, in probably its best form, live. So you're obviously really busy doing an album. Do you have any plans to do like a music video for Feel the Burn or anything?
Funny you should say that. Yeah. That's currently on the drawing board at the moment.
Is that an exclusive?
Or
so
I don't think
know?
We've told anybody that actually. No, that is something that is coming. So that's another exclusive.
We love exclusives on this podcast.
Yeah, loads of them. Loads. So yeah, no, that's something that we got in the pipeline. So I think as obviously even with this channel, like it shows YouTube is one of the main sort of medias that people are going to, and especially with songs as well. If you're sat there and YouTube is the way that you listen to music, you don't want a static image, or you want something that sort of gives you a bit. Even
though I do have a static image on my podcast, I'm sorry. With a podcast, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So
it's radio online, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is a bit more like that. But with a song,
better than radio.
And especially with better than radio. This you get the choice that you don't get as we were talking about before.
It's no holds barred. It's real people
and we
talking.
Can swear.
You can swear. You can say whatever the hell.
Because
you like.
I would never be allowed on radio before 9 at night. I don't really think. They even gave me a warning for Cambridge Rock Festival. I think it was sentence number 4. I dropped my first F-bomb.
So you got a warning at Cambridge Rock Festival.
Yeah. Oh, well, they know what I'm like.
Oh, it's because it's going out live on 105, wasn't
it? It's a rock festival.
I just say it how it is. That's my problem.
Yeah.
They say swearing's for the uneducated.
Oh, no. In the right context.
And to them people, I say.
When I heard you say it, I'm sure it was a prolonged.
I was thinking
the word as well.
Yeah, I was.
And I'm thinking it's just like, is he going to say it or isn't he? Yeah, no, he's just said it.
He's just said it.
It was a really long...
We're going to get kicked off now.
But so we do want to do the music video. Especially as well because, like I said, with our songs we like telling stories, and the music video for us it's getting a chance to create the film of that story. That's what I think about it as well.
So obviously you guys have known each other a long time. You're all from St Ives, aren't you? Kind of
now. Yeah, sort of growing up there. Me and Jack are originally from Yorkshire.
We're going to that.
That's for another podcast. We'll talk about Yorkshire.
Yeah, we have time to describe.
So how did this band come together? Because it's kind of a new band, isn't it? You haven't been around that long.
We've only been we started jamming and getting together about 2 years ago, and then we only started gigging just over a year ago because we spent a lot of time. To be honest, we spent a lot of time at the beginning just trying to figure out if it would work. Because me, Jack and Phil have been in bands before when we were younger, but we've always wanted a bit more of a heavier angle to it, and so when we came back this time, that was one of the things that we wanted to do. But initially, we were looking for a bass player because I was a guitarist, and we couldn't find a bass player. I should have been trying to sell print, but what I'd been doing is sat there writing a song, which we have been recording. It might go on the album. It all depends. We're recording more than we need so we can pick and choose.
B-sides.
And, that's it. Yeah, just get the odd little one that wasn't. Here's something that wasn't quite good enough. And,
we'll stick it on an EP.
So and I just took a sheet of lyrics down to Tom and just like write that and come around for a jam. I can't play guitar like Tom. It was one of them. There's not many guitarists that give you the fill effect, which is like we used to always play with Phil, and it was just like, how do you do that? Like, I can't do that. And then Tom came around and was like, yes, Tom can do that. But they both look at it with a slightly different angle as well. Tom's always been drop D.
Yeah.
Phil's always been more of an open E. Tom comes from more of a chuggy technical background. Phil comes from more of a sort of a theory side background.
Yeah. So it's a really nice blend then.
Yeah, you got them two together, and it just initially it clashed horribly.
Oh really?
We spent about a month with them both trying to figure out what are you going to do next. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? And we literally just lived in the practice rooms for, well, like I say, the best part of a year, didn't we? Just jamming out and still bringing in more and more bass players and going, you can play, but it's not quite fitting, or you're not quite. And in the end,
so you just thought, I've got to do it myself.
Yeah. It was a frustration at the end. I was just bored at the end of a band practice. I think we'd sent somebody home the next day and we were jamming, weren't we? Because we didn't want to. You don't want to lose the time.
No.
And it was just, sorry, I'll pick up the bass, and then they didn't let me put it down.
How did you guys come up with the name Hollowstar? Does it have any meaning, or where did it come from?
It was. We were originally called John Doe for ages, purely because we didn't have a name. And it was just like, what doesn't have John Doe? That's what they give to people that don't have a name. And then
we never really got called. It was just
we sort of called ourselves it.
Jams.
We did jam nights,
but we never had a proper gig under that name.
Tom plays a Black Star amp. One of you two were going, I really like the name. I can't remember who it was, but one of these two were going, I like the name Black Star. I wish we could be called Black Star.
That was me, yeah.
And we're going, we can't be called Black Star. An amp is called, and then you've got Black Star Riders and all this, that, and the other.
And David Bowie's album.
Yeah, and we were just bouncing ideas around, and we were sort of talking about music, because obviously, with what we were saying earlier, a lot of music now is just throwaway artists. You sort of one-hit wonders, and I'll give them a load of makeup, give them a song that's catchy, that has 3 words in it, and they make their money for us.
Yeah.
So we sort of bounced things, and how about Hollowstar, like the representative of the hollow stars that you've got.
Yeah.
Like the music industry is literally full of hollow stars.
Oh,
Throw them in, rip them out, and do things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And wanting to create something that we've always wanted to create a bit more of a legacy and a bit of a. We're in this for the long haul. In 20 years' time,
it's definitely a good name. It's definitely a good name. It's just easy to remember. It's to the point. So you guys have played a lot of festivals and shows this year. What are some of your personal highlights from other shows and festivals you played?
Toesland.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
For live playing with Toesland was good.
Yeah, and the Walls.
Yeah.
Toesland and the Walls.
Yeah.
I mean, Toesland was good. I mean, what's the best stage we ever played? Probably.
Glastonbury's
the best stage you ever played. That was an epic.
It is a big stage, but I've always liked the Junction.
It is one of.
Has their sound improved? Because when I was a kid, it weren't always that great.
It is good.
I like the Junction.
It depends on who you get.
I mean, I haven't gone for a good couple of years now. I can't remember the last band I saw there. Maybe it was like Funeral or
Junction. It's good. And the thing is as well, because of the fact that they do give unsigned bands slots and things. They do things like the Fiver Nights and things like that.
Yeah, kind of. Not as often as they probably should. It's kind of difficult to get on.
But then that's controlled again a lot by the people who have signed the bands, because now they'll put a band out, and then when they're getting somewhere, what they're going to do, they're going to put another band that they have signed onto that. So it's all about looking after their own at the end of the day. And you can understand why they do it, because they're trying to make a business out of it at the end of the day.
Some of the bands that I've obviously interviewed previously to you guys have probably been a band longer than you guys, and they still haven't played that venue. So that is kind of surprising.
To be honest, we're surprised, because we've said we're doing things.
But I'm kind of not surprised, because I've seen you guys live, and I thought, well, they would have killed the Junction. So
I suppose a lot of things as well. A lot of bands, like we are, when we're going around on the circuit as well, I'd say we're in the older side of the band's bracket, I'd say as well.
Do you think your style of music has helped you achieve that quicker, because you kind of know what you're going to play, you know the sound that you want. You're not kind of in that contemporary
I think
rock
it helps that
genre.
we've established who we are pretty early on.
And they just and they know what they're going to get with you.
Yeah.
Whereas other bands, they're still trying to maybe figure out what they want to do, find themselves.
I think that's massively helped with songwriting.
We just make music we want to make.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
the music we listen to, we try and make that sort of music.
I mean, it's helped because
And
it's
people just
louder.
seem to like it, which is good.
I'd say that's the biggest way it helps us because we are so loud and in your face. You can't put an acoustic act or a jingly jangly indie band on after something's been so loud and in your face because it just you'd suddenly go, oh, what happened there?
Yeah, you
so
lose
because
that
of
buzz.
that, we instantly were going a bit further up the bills when we were playing with quieter acts, and because of that happened, it sort of came hand in hand with okay, we're becoming higher up the bill now, so we've got to become the next step. We've always tried to be 3 steps more professional than we need to be anyway from the very start. So just the fact that pushed us later was like, okay, so we're headlining that act, and I think it was only our 3rd gig and we were headlining.
Wow,
and it was just
that's really impressive.
That was.
So we're going to talk about the cost of being in a band. Is there anything you've maybe sacrificed to continue playing music, to keep a band, or this band, or a previous band going?
Tommy's motocross bike.
Yeah.
Tom was in it when we started the band. Tom was just about to buy a motocross bike, and then when the band started going well, he ended up buying a PRS.
Well, the funny thing is, I've never fallen off a guitar, so I thought it's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But no, it's everything. I'll be honest, it is a massive money pit. Like, you're just not aware. Like the album itself, I reckon the album by the time we're done will be 4 or 5 grand.
Wow.
Probably closer to 5 grand. By the time you've done all the recording, your mastering, you've done all the legal side of things, the promotion and PR that you need to put into it, the disc duplication, your distribution,
and you just sort of maybe hope that you break even.
Oh, if we break even, if we get
that would be a success, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But if we make break even on 5
you make
grand,
a bit of profit, you could
a CD.
buy your motocross bike.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I might one day be able to buy another one.
So let's talk about day jobs. I know you previously mentioned some jobs, but what are you currently doing for work?
I've just left my job to try and be a musician. Yeah, that was a good idea, wasn't it?
How's that working out for you?
Well, it's alright, so I mean, I'm self-employed, so I kind of just do bits of all sorts of things, building websites, doing a bit of marketing, consultancy, all this fun stuff, whatever comes my way. And then I was in a warehouse the past couple of weeks, so literally anything at the minute, but it gives us time to focus on the band. So.
It's trying to find jobs that work around what you do with the band. And it goes back to that same thing, the amount of time and money. They're the 2 biggest things, time and money. And that's what you're controlled by with most people's lives, isn't it? You spend your whole time revolving around time and money. So it's trying to find the right balance of, we need the money, but we need time.
Yeah.
So when we sort of started getting a bit more serious, Tom changed his job twice, so his shift patterns can suit the band.
Yeah.
Jack, like I say, Jack's just finished his job to now go self-employed, so he can choose his own freedom.
Yeah.
I left a good sales position to go. I'm a builder's labourer. I'm labouring building a bungalow at the minute, and at the moment Phil's the one, because we needed still one of us, because your last question, what you were talking about as well with money, it costs so much.
Yeah.
And at this point, without having at least one of us because Phil really did work his arse off in his younger working career as well. And when he was in his early 20s, he's seeing the rewards for that now.
Yeah, definitely.
And luckily, Phil's not a stingy Scrooge, and has been, to be honest, a big part of the reason why we can go, right, we need an album in October. So it's working as a team. It's almost like, when you go into a relationship and some people go, right, we need our joint bank account now for this and that, and it's like, right, so between us, right, okay, we need 2 people.
Person taking all your money.
Yeah, at this point, it's like, right, we need 2 people at home. So one person at home that's going to be doing the most of the stuff, which is now Jack's taking that role on. One person who can have the freedom to come in and out. One person who can basically choose their own to get the logistics right, and another one who is, I'm in work Monday to Friday because this is how we pay for it all. And between us all, we've got to this point where we're all skin.
Yeah. We have nice equipment.
Is that maybe where, like, have you got like family members that obviously help you out as well?
I'll be honest, without having supportive family members, we'd have got nowhere. Because they've spent there ever since we were
involved with us every gig. It's just without them.
I would like to say to everyone listening that even though I do claim to do mostly everything myself on this podcast, I do have my dad who does.
We can see him through the door.
Yeah, here's my sound engineer.
You know what Sue's doing there.
But yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it without his studio and his equipment. And yeah, I work night shifts, so that's how I'm able to do this in my spare time. And yeah, it's just making it work, really.
It's making life work.
That's all you do.
Yeah. At the end of the day, life it's about choices.
Yeah.
And it's about going and making life work for yourself, really. Finding what
What
you're passionate about.
what I love about this podcast is because it is mostly me. I'm the boss. You know, I can be like, I don't feel like doing that today. That's fine. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't really set myself deadlines. I try and get 3 podcasts out a month, maybe 4.
But the good thing is, when you're doing something that you're passionate about, you don't have to lay.
You've got the drive. Mostly, you do have the drive to do it.
It's the same sort of beauty of what you're doing as the music.
Yeah, exactly.
You wake up and think, I've got an idea for the next podcast. The same as Phil will wake up and go, I've got a guitar riff idea.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a way for me to get my creativeness out of my head into something. Because if I'm not doing art, I used to do music back in the day, but I don't want to talk about that. Because it was just won't even talk about that. But yeah, I needed to do something basically in my free time to just get all my stuff out that I needed to, and this is what I ended up doing. And
I think everybody's got to take time to find their muse in life.
Yeah.
Because it's too
and
easy to
I would have never thought to myself that I would be doing this, but you just never know. Like when you're younger, you just think, oh yeah, I'll be this when I'm older. It never works out that way.
Yeah. No.
You always end up doing something you never thought you'd be doing.
That's the fun in life, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just going with the
definitely
making a few different decisions and taking a risk.
Yeah, I mean, I went to college, I went to uni doing graphic design, and I'm not doing that now for a full-time job. So
I know a guy who went to university and he got a history degree and he now sells concrete.
History of concrete.
Well, I bet that is an interesting podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You need to give me his number.
Episode 2 with Tom Collins.
Stand by.
Concrete and salad.
Yeah.
Do not mix.
Concrete and salad. In
salad.
fact, Tom, if we ever do make it and you're writing in 30 years' time, you're doing the Tom Collett, please call it Concrete and Salad.
Oh, my
The Tom Collett autobiography, Concrete and Salad.
Oh, yeah. I think that's
Johnny
A
is
nice ring to it.
Velcro heart.
Oh,
Do you have any advice, even though you've pretty much said it, do you have any advice for aspiring musicians who are just starting out?
work hard and don't expect it too soon.
And don't take it too seriously.
And
You just got to enjoy it.
Don't think that it stops when you walk off stage.
Yeah.
What you do on stage is
It's
probably
the iceberg.
30%.
If that.
If that in a band. Yeah.
It's a commitment, and it's a massive sacrifice on other things, because at the end of the day, the way we say it, and even when it comes down to girlfriends as well, and it comes down to family supporting, and say my girlfriend's birthday 5th of November, if I get a gig offer of a particular stature on the 5th of November, my girlfriend will still hopefully be there on the 6th of November to do something with, but that gig won't be. So the birthday, can that move? We've got a gig. And that's the way it works. But the thing is, if you actually,
I totally understand that. I get that.
You have to be like that with everything.
Basically, if you don't love it, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's
And
a life choice.
I will admit, I have a very understanding wife who doesn't see me at night most nights because I am at work,
and now doesn't see you in the day.
And doesn't see me in the day because she's at work, and then I do this some
She'll
nights.
have to start a band and then
And now I'm spending most of my evenings locked in a shed with a load of sweaty guys. So she's probably really concerned right now.
He always turns his phone off when he disappears from the It's because I'm on a podcast. Oh yeah, that's what you would say.
Yeah, you're down in that shed again.
I walked in yesterday because obviously I had a podcast yesterday, and she was on the sofa. I went to give her a hug, and she was like, "You stink of shed." I was like, "I'm sorry."
Good smell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
It's the smell of surprise.
Caesar dressing. Oh my God.
He always on a salad. Salad again.
Yeah, it's an obsession of mine.
She probably liked the smell of salad. Maybe you should invent that deodorant. Maybe.
don't encourage you.
Grass skirts are becoming very appealing.
Yeah. Oh God. Right. we're gonna kind of get serious.
Oh, God.
Serious. Right, let's talk about your debut single, Feel the Burn. Now, when I saw you guys at Pim Jam, obviously, Joe, you like to talk.
Yeah, I can't help myself.
And you kind of explain the meaning behind the song. So if you can, I'd like you to explain the song on this podcast, because I believe it's a very important issue that I'm sure I can relate to, and I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate to as well.
Yeah, it was. The guitar riff was actually something Tom had come up with initially. Obviously, you've seen this before. Our sound is quite loud and in your face.
Yeah.
We'd sort of got to the point where
it's a lot mellower, this song, compared to your other song.
It's completely
Isn't
the
it?
other side, where you can't keep somebody at 100 mile an hour the whole
No.
way, because you've got to stop for roundabouts.
Yeah.
So you need to sort of give them something to ride the wave of the gig for. So we'd sort of decided we needed to get something a bit quieter, and in all of our music we like to tell, like I said before, we like to tell stories, and so it's trying to find the right lyrics that fit with the sound. And we've been playing around with it for quite a while and testing different ideas out. Myself, I've always dealt with depression, and it's something that sort of takes hold of days and weeks of your life at a time. And when I was in my early 20s, I lost about 2 years of my life to it, just sort of locked away in a room and not really doing much. Just I'd sit there and troll through hours of YouTube videos and maybe sit and write a few lyrics on an acoustic guitar and existing rather than actually living and stuff. And so the sort of depression angle had sort of started taking I want to do something that can, with the lyrics, that can sort of react to that. And these guys have all lived with me for it as well. The amount of times that you almost see Jack or Phil or Tom sort of go, right, okay. So it does affect people that are around people that are dealing with things like anxiety, depression.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you can't talk about it in public, because if you go into a pub and you sat there going, oh, and this and this and that, you do get the, oh, shut up, you miserable git, or why are you bringing us all down, or can't you just
it's
enjoy
hard.
what
It's
you've
hard
got?
for someone to understand who maybe hasn't gone through that.
Exactly.
Or, you know, that type of thing.
So for me, it's the good thing about when you're in music is people are there and they do listen.
Yeah.
So when you got a platform like that that sort of gave me the chance to talk about it, where people will sort of pay attention. And songs are a strong medium as well. I mean, I think that you'll listen to the messages in songs a lot more than you could sit there and listen to somebody talk for 4 minutes. But if you put that same message in a song, people can create their own message from that and sort of do a lot
it's
more
what
with
they
it.
associate it with,
Yeah.
their memories, their feelings.
So
and-
that was sort of where that came from, and it's sort of trying to almost explain to other people what that is as well. Because with my depression, I get to the point where I'm so numb that I don't even know whether things matter anymore, which is why I'll find myself locking myself away, not chasing the things that I want. I'll leave jobs and just sit on a PlayStation for 6 months on end. I've been known to do that with it, and it's almost to the point of completely giving up. So it's and that's where the reference to Feel the Burn comes in, because what I'd then do is it'd get too far, I'd go and do something stupid just to test if I even care about anything anymore, and then realise that you do, and go, I should maybe not have said that, shouldn't have done that, and the last time it happened was about 2 months after we'd started playing around with this song, and we had a bit of a wild Christmas, New Year's Eve period, and had a night where it sort of taken control of what I was doing again. And the next band practice, we were sort of still working away at the idea, and then the lyrics started coming through of the Feel the Burn, and why am I always testing things? Why do I never seem to learn that things do matter? Why do I never seem to sort of just settle back and relax into things? Why have I always got to test it and try and push buttons and things like that? And because that's what depression does to a lot of people as well. You sort of find yourself becoming really erratic with your behaviour and things like that. So
yeah.
But no, that's kind of a downside, a big downer on it. But it is. It's sort of saying it is okay to turn around and talk to people.
Yeah.
Because there's more people out there dealing with anxiety and depression than what people know.
Yeah, definitely. And I will be the first one to admit I struggled hugely with that when I left uni. It was partly the reason why I left, because I was in a bad place, in a bad spot, and I needed to be somewhere else because it was all just too much, couldn't cope. And yeah, exactly all the things you were saying I was doing, and yeah, it does work out. You can recover from things, but music as well along the way has helped me do that. And now that, you know, you're obviously part of that, you are now creating music for people out there who do feel like that and can relate to that.
I hope so. I mean, we've always tried to keep things in our songwriting. We try to paint a picture, but not be too specific as well, because that's how I react with my type of depression doesn't mean that's how everybody does.
Yeah.
Same as with some of our other songs, just because that's the way we react in that situation or that's what it was about doesn't mean that other people haven't felt that particular emotion about a completely different situation.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what music does. You can put your own situation to the sounds and to the lyrics, and it gives, even though they might not necessarily have meant what you're thinking at the time, you can feel like somebody else understands where you're at, and that's the strength in music.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I've always wanted to be a storyteller with it, and why we try so hard to make songs make sense.
Now we're going to play that song.
Yes.
Would you like to introduce it?
This is "Feel the Burn" by 4 Failing Musicians.
What am I to do?
So that was Feel the Burn by Hollowstar. We've covered quite a lot.
We do come with a warning. If
We have gone down
start
many.
talking to us, we won't stop.
We've gone down many different roads and paths, but we finally come to the end of the podcast. So the last question, it's kind of a bit more of an upbeat question. We got kind of serious for a minute, but now we're just going to chill, have a bit of a laugh again. Guilty pleasures, songs or artists that, you know, you're kind of embarrassed to admit you like. Something a bit cheesy, maybe poppy.
My Friday afternoon song when we used to work. When I worked with these guys, and my old boss used to get to 4:30 every Friday, and he'd put on "How Will I Know" by Whitney Houston so loud that you couldn't make any sales calls. Ever since then, it is when it's time to pack up and you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
How will I know? As loud as you can, and that's my I don't care anymore song. Don't care, not listening, I'm going home. But yeah, so that's probably one of mine. Should never admit that, should I?
I learn something new every day.
Another one was Mika. When you remember when that Mika came out years and years ago?
Oh yeah.
I'd have only been about
Yeah.
17. But there's something to be said for what your mood is and where you are and what you're doing the first time you hear a song.
Yeah.
It was on a summer's day, I had the windows down, the sun blaring, and it was just too happy not to be like, oh, well, this is chirpy.
I've got Erasure on my phone. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't know why. I think it's because I watched a video on Facebook or YouTube, and there's a bloke in the underground just singing it completely on his own. And
Was he busking or just a random guy?
No, just a random bloke. I think he just decided to start singing. I don't know what he'd been taking, but he decided to sing it, and he sung it brilliantly. And by the time he got to the third line, the whole platform was singing it. And I thought, do you know what? Everybody must know that song. And it's like, you know, that's a song that everybody seems to know, and it's one of the most upbeat songs I think I know.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Well, I'm trying to think.
You're full of guilty pleasures.
Come on.
Phil's used to be he used to.
So what is
Phil
there too
went through
many?
a period- Phil went through a period where he wanted to be an indie pop band, and everything sounded like the Kooks.
Oh no.
And that was a point when we used to cringe at Phil's music taste. He's brought it back now though. He is starting to save face.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
The listeners on the podcast won't get that reference.
Oh yeah, Phil. By the way, Phil's had Bell's palsy for about 15 weeks now.
18 now.
18 weeks, full
Wow.
facial paralysis. So I know this isn't particularly
That was a
visual,
great joke.
but that was.
Yeah.
Just trust me, that was funny.
What's your guilty pleasure?
I don't know.
You can say something like Gary Moore or Steve Viles.
Not really guilty pleasure though, is it? That?
No, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Robbie Williams tracks. That He's probably my
His
guilty
first
pleasure.
album.
I'll go with
Yeah, I mean,
Only the first.
Some of
album.
his songs are really good.
yeah.
I'm going to admit that.
Come Undone, I think, is a great track.
Yeah.
We're actually going to start going into Robbie Williams songs here. Isn't it?
Maybe it's
So
not
this
such
is
a guilty
this is
pleasure.
no, we're quite
Just
enjoying
found
it.
out everyone's a Robbie Williams. Has he told the world?
Has he got any gigs soon? Should we all just go?
Yeah, it's all
Round
right.
out into a Robbie
Screw
Williams.
Alter Bridge because they won't play Metalingus.
Yeah,
We go see Robbie
I'm
instead.
going to go sing
Yeah,
Come
see-
On
see
Down
if
at the
Robbie
top
will
of my voice.
just in case Kylie comes on.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Then I will go home.
Right. I think we're at the end of the show. We finally.
Kicking us out.
Yeah. Right. Where can everyone follow you on social media?
You can find us on Facebook at /Hollowstar Official, or Twitter, Hollowstar Band, Instagram, Hollowstar Band.
You have a website as well, don't you?
Yeah, hollowstar.co.uk.
And where can people buy your music from?
All available sort of music platforms: iTunes, Amazon, Google.
It's just Feel the Burn. That's
At
up
this
at the
moment in
moment.
time, it's just
the
JB single
single.
Feel the Burn. And for those of you who did like the stuff that we pulled on the EP that's now disappeared, I think that
That
should
available.
hopefully be returning in a much
Ooh.
higher quality format later in the year.
Interesting.
With quite a number of new things.
And there's a final exclusive.
Oh, more.
There is there? Do I get to find
More?
out?
That was the final exclusive.
Oh, that was. the
Oh,
final
okay.
one.
I was
reading
like,
that one.
what?
Okay.
More?
I tell you what, we do think we've just about come up with a name for it. Are we going to make this? Are we going to decide that now while we're here live on the podcast?
I already said it was going to be that.
Right, so this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
call being made now. The album that will be out later in the year is going to be called Come Alive.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Wow.
What is
Exclusive.
it?
Thank you to my guest, Hollowstar, for joining me.
No,
Thank you very much for having us.
It's been good.
Please like and share the show on Facebook. Spread the word. You can find me on facebook.com/localdistortionpodcast. For more interviews, live performances from my guests, subscribe to Local Distortion on YouTube. It has the channel with the same name. Doesn't have a URL yet. Need more subscribers. Please subscribe. If you're an upcoming band or artist, or know someone who is and they'd like to be on the show, just send me a message on my Facebook page and we'll get you on the podcast. Thank you for listening. Sweet. I think we're done.
Nice.
Open that door.
Yeah.
Let's get out.